Hello Deutschlerner, this is my first of several videos that will introduce you to a ton of verb and preposition combinations in German. Today's video focuses on the combinations of an and German verbs. I've already made a few videos about these so-called verbs with fixed prepositions, but none of them have really gone into as much detail as I would have liked. For that reason, I'm starting a series of videos that will take a deeper dive into them. Each video will explore a particular preposition and the verbs that are commonly used with them. These will all be added to a playlist which is linked up here in the corner and also in the description. Today we're focusing on the preposition an, which is one of the two-way prepositions or Wechselpräpositionen. This means that it can either use the accusative case or the dative case based on whether or not it describes a change in location or state. If you want to learn more about these prepositions, you should probably watch this video here first, which is also linked in the description. The usual logic can sometimes be confusing with these kinds of verb-preposition combinations, as they are figurative and not literally showing a change of location or state. For me, it was easier to simply memorize which case was used as I came across these combinations, but some Deutschlerner want to know the why behind the how. For those Deutschlerner, I will be trying to explain the logic as much as possible throughout this video. If you want a video that just has the example sentences in it, that is linked in the description. So without further ado, let's get into the list. Ändern an, dative, to change X about Y. Arbeiten an, dative, to work on. Denken an, accusative, to think of something. Erkranken an, dative, to get sick with. Fehlen an, dative, to be lacking in. Glauben an, accusative, to believe in, to have confidence in. Hindern an, dative, to prevent X, the accusative object, from doing Y, the dative object of that preposition an. Hängen an, dative, to be attached to. Leiden an, dative, to suffer from. Liegen an, dative, to be due to something. Es liegt an, it is due to. Sich beteiligen an, dative, to participate in, to take part in. Sich erinnern an, accusative, to remember. Sich gewöhnen an, accusative, to become accustomed to. Sich halten an, accusative, to contain oneself or control oneself. Sich orientieren an, dative, to follow someone's example. Sich wenden an, accusative, to contact someone, to turn to. Sterben an, dative, to die from. Teilnehmen an, dative, to participate in, to compete in. Vermieten an, accusative, to rent to. Zweifeln an, dative, to doubt about somebody or something, to be dubious about something. Ändern an, dative, to change X about Y. Ich ändere nichts an deinem Plan. I am not changing anything about your plan. This combination requires the dative case. Why? The nothing that is being changed is located on the plan. It isn't showing a change in location, even figuratively. Therefore, dative. Ich ändere nichts an deinem Plan. Ich ändere nichts an deinem Plan. Arbeiten an, dative, to work on. Arbeitet an einem neuen Projekt. He is working on a new project. Again, we use the dative case because the project is the location at which the work is being done. Arbeitet an einem neuen Projekt. Arbeitet an einem neuen Projekt. Denken an, accusative, to think of something. Ich denke oft an dich. I often think of you. This one requires the accusative case. You can think of it as you casting your thoughts in the direction of someone. Ich denke oft an dich. Ich denke oft an dich. Erkranken an, dative, to get sick with. Sie erkrankt an Grippe. She is getting sick with the flu. Although there is no article in the sentence to indicate this for us, this requires the dative case. You can think of it as describing a location of the reasoning for the sickness, i.e. the flu. Therefore, you need the dative case. Sie erkrankt an Grippe. Sie erkrankt an Grippe. Fehlen an, dative, to be lacking in. Dem Team fehlt es an Erfahrung. The team is lacking in experience. Again, we need the dative case because we are showing the location of the lacking, i.e. the experience. Dem Team fehlt es an Erfahrung. Dem Team fehlt es an Erfahrung. Also keep in mind that you could use this sentence without using an by saying Dem Team fehlt Erfahrung. The team is lacking experience. Dem Team fehlt Erfahrung. Dem Team fehlt Erfahrung. Glauben an, accusative, to believe in, to have confidence in. Ich glaube an dich. I believe in you. This is showing the destination of your belief, which is why we use the accusative case here. Your belief is changing location as illustrated by the preposition an. Ich glaube an dich. Ich glaube an dich. Hindern an, dative, to prevent X, accusative, from doing Y, dative. Die schlechte Wetterlage hindert uns am Ausflug. The bad weather prevents us from going on the trip. Where is the hindrance? On the trip. Dative, because it is figuratively a static location. Die schlechte Wetterlage hindert uns am Ausflug. Die schlechte Wetterlage hindert uns am Ausflug. Hängen an, dative, to be attached to. Die Fotos hängen an der Wand. The photos are attached to the wall. This one is literal, which makes it incredibly obvious that you need the dative case here. Die Fotos hängen an der Wand. Die Fotos hängen an der Wand. Be careful with this one, however, as you can also hang something onto the wall with the same verb and preposition combination. This is describing a change in location for the thing being hung, which requires the accusative case. For example, Ich hänge die Fotos an die Wand. I am hanging the photos onto the wall. Ich hänge die Fotos an die Wand. Ich hänge die Fotos an die Wand. Leiden an, dative, to suffer from. Leidet an einer Allergie. He suffers from an allergy. Just like being sick, the location of the problem is expressed in the dative case. Leidet an einer Allergie. Leidet an einer Allergie. Liegen an, dative, to be due to. Es liegt an, it is due to. Die Verzögerung liegt an technischen Problemen. The delay is due to technical issues. Where is the delay? On the technical issues. Therefore, dative. Die Verzögerung liegt an technischen Problemen. Die Verzögerung liegt an technischen Problemen. Sich beteiligen an, dative, to participate in, to take part in. Beteiligt sich aktiv an der Diskussion. He actively participates in the discussion. Where is he taking part? In the discussion. That is a static location and therefore dative. Beteiligt sich aktiv an der Diskussion. Beteiligt sich aktiv an der Diskussion. Sich erinnern an, accusative, to remember. Ich erinnere mich an unseren letzten Urlaub. I remember our last vacation. Similar to thinking about someone or something, you can cast your memory in the direction of someone or something. This requires the accusative case. Ich erinnere mich an unseren letzten Urlaub. Ich erinnere mich an unseren letzten Urlaub. Sich gewöhnen an. Accusative, to become accustomed to. Sie gewöhnt sich schnell an neue Situationen. She quickly becomes accustomed to new situations. This one's a bit of a stretch of the logic that I've been using so far, but it's generally the same idea. You're changing the state of being. You used to not be accustomed to this situation, but now you are. This isn't a change in location, but rather a change in state. Sie gewöhnt sich schnell an neue Situationen. Sie gewöhnt sich schnell an neue Situationen. Sich halten an, accusative, to contain or control oneself. Sie hält sich an die Regeln. She controls herself according to the rules. I had a bit of trouble wrapping my brain around this one in the past, but the alternative translation of this sentence really helped me out. You could also say, she adheres to the rules. Think of what adhesion does. It sticks things onto other things. This changes the location of the first thing. That's what's happening here. She was somewhere else, and now she is adhering to the rules. The figurative location has changed, so we use the accusative case. Sie hält sich an die Regeln. Sie hält sich an die Regeln. Sich orientieren an. Dative, to follow someone's example. Die Studenten orientieren sich an ihrem Professor. The students follow their professor's example. At first I thought this was some sort of an exception to the rules, but it actually follows them quite well. This isn't saying that they changed from some other orientation to this new orientation around the professor. It's saying that they are already with the professor and they are staying with him throughout this entire expression. This is just like climbing on a wall, an einer Wand klettern. This phrase uses the dative case because the location of the action is not changing. It's applying the same rule that I've mentioned so far, but it's the opposite of what most of the examples that I've shown have done. Orientation is a static action performed in your brain. There is no change in location or state, either literal or figuratively, so we have to use the dative case. Die Studenten orientieren sich an ihrem Professor. Die Studenten orientieren sich an ihrem Professor. Sich wenden an, accusative, to contact someone, to turn to. Wendet sich an einen Anwalt. He contacts a lawyer. He turns to a lawyer. The verb wenden on its own is generally translated as turn. The phrase says that is turning himself towards the lawyer. This changes the location and therefore requires the accusative case. If you tried using the dative case, it would mean that the act of turning is taking place physically on the lawyer, which is obviously not what is meant. Wendet sich an einen Anwalt. Wendet sich an einen Anwalt. Sterben an, dative, to die from. Starb an einer schweren Krankheit. He died from a serious illness. Just like getting sick or suffering from, the death in this sentence is located on the illness, which requires the dative case. Again, if we tried the opposite case, it would indicate that the person is dying in the direction of a serious illness. The accusative case just doesn't work here. Starb an einer schweren Krankheit. Starb an einer schweren Krankheit. Teilnehmen an, dative, to participate in, to compete in. Sie nimmt an einem Wettbewerb teil. She participates in a competition. Where are they taking part? In the competition. The phrasing may sound a bit funny, but the meaning is still there. No change in location has occurred. Sie nimmt an einem Wettbewerb teil. Sie nimmt an einem Wettbewerb teil. Vermieten an, accusative, to rent to. Wir vermieten das Haus an einer Familie. We rent the house to a family. This one pushes the rent towards the family, which shows a change in the figurative location of the rent. That makes the sentence use the accusative case with an. If you tried using the dative case here, the renting would have to take place physically on a family. Since that isn't what we're trying to express, we need the accusative case. Wir vermieten das Haus an einer Familie. Wir vermieten das Haus an einer Familie. Zweifeln an, dative, to doubt about somebody or something, to be dubious about. Ich zweifle an seiner Aussage. I doubt his statement. Where's the doubt? On his statement, therefore, dative. Ich zweifle an seiner Aussage. Ich zweifle an seiner Aussage. As a general rule, if you can use a person after the preposition an with this kind of verb and preposition combination, you use the accusative case. For example, denken an, glauben an, sich erinnern an, sich wenden an, vermieten an. If the object of the preposition an has to be an inanimate object or a place, you usually need the dative case. Exceptions to this occur with verbs like sich gewöhnen an and sich halten an. I hope this helps to clear up some of the confusion around these verbs when combined with an. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the rest of the videos in this series. Das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!